I'm Jim Carlson. We are live from Infotec 2015. We're in the afternoon sessions. We want to welcome you if you're watching live. If you're watching the recorded version of this, stay through the interview, and then we will. You'll have to skip ahead as we do them all afternoon, but we want to welcome you too. I'm here with Maude. I'm here with Anthony. Guys, thanks for coming out and being a part of the program today.
Sure. Yeah,
Let's do some introductions. Anthony, we'll start with you. Tell us who you are, where you work, what you do, where you're from, that kind of stuff.
All right. My name is Anthony Carlson. I work at Farm Credit Services of America, and one of the things that I mentioned in all my openings is I started in 1999 as an intern, and I've never worked anywhere else.
Oh, wow.
And
that's a good story. It's a good intern story.
Yeah. So when you're in the IT field, a lot of people have switched jobs and they work different projects, but I've grown up with Farm Credit Service America, and I've seen drastic changes.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And did you start for the Y2K? Did they bring you in for some Y2K work?
No, that was an intern, but I remember they set up a whole building where they almost replicated the whole infrastructure just so they can test all the apps, and they were doing weird things. But they probably took up about the conference room size here at the Infotec just to test stuff that they knew was already going to work.
Right. Yeah. No good. So, Maude, how about you?
Oh, I'm just this awesome person sitting right here talking. I'm Maude Moreno. I am a business analyst too at Farm Credit Services of America. We're actually teammates.
Awesome.
I sit to the left of Anthony, so I'm used to this kind of.
So you guys are right at home.
I've been a business analyst there for 3 years, but I've been in IT for 17 years between the Philippines and here. And I've had this kind of project management, business analysis role for about 13 years.
Yeah.
And I love where I'm at.
When were you last time you were in the Philippines?
I was just there in January.
Oh, nice.
Yes. I went home, stayed there for 2 weeks, came back. Too short, always too short.
When's the last time you worked in the Philippines?
I worked 2005.
Okay. So 10 years ago?
I've been in the U.S. for 10 years.
10 years. Okay.
Yes.
Very cool. Let's talk a little bit about your sessions. So you guys had 2 sessions that you did. You did 2 sessions.
I did 2 sessions, then we did 1 session together.
Yeah, give us a little bit of a recap on those on those sessions.
Well, let's start with our dual one first. Where we were co-presenters.
Perfect.
That was called "Are You the Bus Factor?" And Maude's the one that kind of built that title about months ago when we first thought of doing some type of presentation. It was well, what's all these things that our team does on a daily basis, or what's all the struggles that we see teams go through, or what things have we conquered that we want to present. But we also didn't want it to be like a chest beating, oh, we're so great,
bragging.
So I had all these ideas, and I gave them to Maude. I say, Maude, this is what I think we do well, or what we fixed because of this. And then Maude kind of helped me take it to another level.
Yes. So Jim, do you know what the bus factor means?
No, tell me.
Okay.
And other people are listening.
Or AKA the
millions
factor.
who are listening.
Yeah, millions.
Yeah. So talk about it.
It is the number of key developers or key members in your team, in the software development team, that would need to be incapacitated in order for a project to not proceed.
Okay.
So if you have a team of 10, some people say your bus factor should be 10. It takes each
bus
person
being hit by a bus.
Being hit by a bus, yes.
We like to say call in rich. That's that's what we use. If they call in, this is a little nicer, but I like it. I like it.
Truck factor, bus factor. That's kind of, let's stick with the software development term.
I got it.
So then we were talking about some of the successes that we've had in our team, and wanted to be careful about we're not a perfect team. That's not the message at all. But we have certain concepts that we stuck with, and then we stuck with 6 in our presentations today. Briefly, from 1 to 6. The first one is shared responsibility, not roles.
Okay.
Which means it's about the task that needs to be done, not really your job title.
Right.
Regardless of what your title is, it's about the task, and you take part in it.
Right.
And finishing it.
Right.
Second, leadership is a practice, not a person. Same thing. Just because you don't have a leadership name in your position doesn't mean you don't get to lead.
Yes, that's my favorite one right there.
Yeah, well, leadership.
The biggest thing.
Yeah, everybody has responsibilities, right? Accountabilities from that standpoint.
And everybody gets a chance to lead. So then we made examples of how in our team we rotate that role of being a facilitator. We call them the cow, which is the captain of the week.
Okay.
And we have this totem where little stuffed toy cow that we pass to the cow of the week. It's on our desk.
It says eat more chicken. No.
What chicken? And the third, we have agile, and this is a little bit sensitive. Agile doesn't have to be a methodology.
Okay. What does that mean?
It means, well, in the agile textbook definition of agile, it means you can kind of be in a certain you have to have a certain methodology sort of adapted in your team, your Scrum or your Lean,
Right.
Kanban, all
Right.
these different
Yeah.
things. Our team is neither of that, and we're also like all of that.
Sure.
We're not a pure
Yeah.
methodology.
Maybe you've taken the best or what works for you.
Yes.
From those.
What
We-
works
we
at
did that.
specific times because we've changed gears a
Sure.
lot through our lifespan of working as a team,
Right.
different projects, those type of work where sometimes, you know, our agile means we're just having a conversation with each other. I mean,
Right.
it's not this full blown, you know, out of the book solution.
Right.
Or, you know, none of us are Scrum certified. Maybe
I was before, but
all right,
not anymore.
So Maude is Scrum certified.
At one point you were.
At one
though.
point
Yeah,
I was,
okay.
but it really is about what makes sense to the team.
Yeah.
Instead about stick to this because that's what the textbook says.
No, and that's good, right? If you think about your driving to work a methodology, right? Sometimes it's the fast method when
Right.
you, right when you're late. Sometimes you go leisurely. Some
Yes.
right.
It
Sometimes
what makes sense
Yeah.
that
you make
day.
detours because you need to stop by Starbucks, right? So
Correct.
yeah, very good.
Yep. And the fourth concept is making things painfully obvious and simple. And then we show them kind of our board and how our stories move with each column in the board, and everything is big.
Yeah.
Everybody from the CEO to the janitor goes to the board and knows exactly what the team is doing in 10 seconds.
Okay.
Because everything is just painfully obvious,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
And the fifth
I like it.
concept is about over communication. We have all these things we keep saying, oh, I sent you an email. Oh, we had this conversation 2 days ago. You forget about that
Right.
stuff.
Oh yeah.
So then we have like a wiki and a blog that we use as repositories of
Okay.
our information.
Yep.
But we also talked in our presentation about the lean coffee meeting structure,
Okay.
which surprisingly, I think 99% of the room had never tried a lean coffee.
So summarize that. What's that?
Ooh, okay. It's hard to do without
so,
visual.
So it's
Yeah.
an informal meeting where
Okay.
when you get there, you build the agenda.
Okay.
And everyone writes on some post-it notes that says, "Hey, this is what I want to talk about," and then you vote, and then you make like your agile storyboard,
Yeah.
and you move it over. But you only get so many minutes to talk about it. And if people are passionate, you do like a thumbs up or you do a thumbs down if you don't want to talk about it anymore. But you know, it's whatever at that time your team really wants to talk about,
Yeah.
Right.
and it just gives an open forum
Okay.
about what's
Yeah.
important to
Right.
you.
Imagine running a conference that way. By the way.
Oh my
where
God. And all
you don't have you just come ready, and then you.
Yeah, what topics do you want to talk about?
The first hour of the conference, it's just people getting together and
Yeah. These are
everybody
what we're passionate
posts.
about.
Here's what, and
Yeah.
then people
Put a
vote.
dot on those topics you want to talk about.
Yeah, how
You've done
fun
it.
would that be?
Yes,
Just to have
it's
everybody
awesome.
ready. You know, if you're going to bring a topic, you have to come. You don't have to bring one, but
Yeah.
then vote on those and
Yes.
then start.
Right. And
Start-
it doesn't have to be about work. It doesn't have to be about
Right.
non-work.
Yeah.
My favorite topic was what he wrote, and it was homemade weed killer.
Yeah, I keep seeing all these posters. How do you make? Yeah, I've
Yes.
It's got
tried.
vinegar in it.
Yeah. I think all you need is
Vinegar does everything.
I think that's all you need. But I probably spent thousands of dollars trying to figure out what's the correct read, just
Right.
because I want to say I'm earth friendly. Where
Yeah.
I could have spent $15 about the weed killer and I would have been done.
You would have been done.
But
Well,
it
but
was
now
a-
you know.
But it was a lean coffee topic.
Now you
Yeah,
know.
it was a lean coffee.
So
All right.
lean
Coffee. Google it.
Yeah,
Okay.
leancoffee.org.
Lean
lean
Yes.
coffee,
Yeah.
like the drink. Lean
Yeah, like the drink.
coffee,
Yes,
like the
lean
drink.
coffee.
Okay, very cool.
So it's the fifth concept was over communication. The last one is increasing product ownership and pride.
Okay.
Meaning, as a software developer, as somebody who is in that team. Remember, as a kid, you want to stamp your stars on the refrigerator.
Yeah.
I've actually heard a developer say, "I created this product. I apologize because it sucks."
Mm,
And you don't want to be behind that. You want to be proud of your work.
right.
So to eliminate the bus factor, we're saying make people interact and take ownership
Yeah.
with the product and with the users early on,
Right.
because they end up defending the product and
Mhm.
owning it, as
Mhm.
opposed to being like, well, I can't. I'm just
Yeah.
one of the developers, and
Right.
that's the kind of stuff. So those are the 6 concepts that we talked about
Cool.
today.
Yeah.
Anthony, anything you want to add to those as we walk through?
No, Ma did a pretty good job explaining it. The nice thing that, just from I know when we did our presentation, because, man, we came with like 50 some slides.
Yeah.
And just think about that, if
Is
you
this
heard
the
that.
first time you've presented on this
On
topic? before?
Infotec,
Yeah,
for
first-
me.
yeah,
yeah,
first-
for us.
Yeah, we've
that's
been
right.
practicing and,
Yeah.
we've been going through and trying to filter it out. But this was one where I actually saw everyone like eyes were like watching.
Yeah,
us.
like-
it's like the ones
Wow,
that
you
anyone
guys must have
checking
done
out.
really well.
It's like it was like we almost said that taboo thing. That idea that being a self-managed team, because I brought up one of those points. Well, this started because our leader was up at the board writing, and he went, I'm not the one that does the real work. And ever since that, I've been a different person about how I look at the team. That, wait, he's right. We're the ones that actually write the code. And someone actually came up and said, well, what does your leader do?
Yeah, exactly. After the presentation, what do you really actually do?
Yeah, and right there, but
how would you answer that question? What does he do?
A lot.
Yeah, actually, what I did is our leader was there hearing all this.
Hey, you tell it.
I pulled him over and said, hey, tell him what you actually do.
Yeah.
And you talked a lot about from a high level, from a software organization. He tries to protect us from things coming down.
Yeah.
Resourcing, and he wants to jump in, but
a shield.
Yeah, but he also knows that let these other 9 people figure out how are they going to make our mobile users happy.
Right.
How does he really want to have a conversation about, oh, this story is more important than this story?
Right.
I mean, that's silly.
Probably more team conflict resolution, probably things just making sure. Sometimes there does need to be a person who makes the decision.
Right. And he's also really lucky to have a true servant leader.
That's great.
Like anytime he's free, he's like, okay, what do you guys need? And we're just like, yep, help me test.
Yeah.
And we don't even have to walk on eggshells because he's the leader, quote unquote.
Nice. Yeah.
It's like, oh, you're free. Oh yeah, you're helping me.
Good. Yeah. Hey you. Yeah.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Hey you, get over
hey, you
here.
Get over here. We need your help.
Yeah, very cool.
Maude hit a lot of the great points, and I think the other thing where some of the people liked it, or even how I like it, is because we're telling like real stories in terms of how many. I'm not going to pick on Gallup here, but
sure.
Gallup writes lots of great leadership books, right? But it's like, hey, if you're the new Kanban person, when was the last time you actually delivered a project? When was the last time you actually sat there and was in there about should we be using Android or iOS?
Right.
When was the last time you do that? I said, let the team figure it out. I'll be back. I'm going to go have Starbucks. Right. So that's the thing. It's like, we're the ones doing the work.
Yeah.
There's, and this wasn't mandated by anybody, but us trying to figure out how to do things better.
Yeah.
Right.
So if individuals wanted to know more about this, what's your recommendation? So I hear this presentation or I hear this video and I go, hey, I want to know more about this. What's some recommendations that you give on how do they find out more?
About the bus factor?
About the bus factor, yeah.
Man, it has to be empirical.
Okay.
I would say take the stuff. We've shared the slides through Twitter, and I think it's going to be uploaded in the AIM Carrier Link database.
I did a slide share. It's on the Twitter Infotec hashtag.
Yes.
I put both my presentations out there, but I put that out there right away and said, here you go.
Yeah.
Take a look.
Because you guys haven't written a book about this yet.
Yeah. That's what he was just joking. Like, that's the next thing.
Mom, we got to write a book.
No.
Figure out.
Here's my opinion. Take it. Do it.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, do it in practice. Fail as many times as you want, as you need to, because we have as a team. I mean, we have failed. We still continue to fail. But the one thing that I really am proud of our team is our team dynamic. We respect each other. There's no, I can code, you don't code, I'm more important. There's none of that at all. Our team is also willing to have difficult conversations, uncomfortable conversations that kind of put you on the spot to make you accountable.
Right.
It's easy for us to point fingers because we know we're eventually going to be in that same boat anyway.
How much do you think of how you respond or what you choose to do is based on the team's individual strengths? So as people are good at there's certain things they're really good at.
Yeah.
And if to use the bus factor, say you did replace 4 or 5 on the team,
that would be sad.
How much would that change in your opinion? How much might that change the way you respond the next time? You think it'll be different?
So here's what I'm going to say. So there's this thing called the hiring process, and our leader was behind it. Even during the hiring process and the screening process, they made sure that the people that we hired really, number one, they're team players. No rock stars, spotlights on me type people.
Right.
Second, people who are passionate. Third, people who are willing to change and willing to adapt.
Okay.
So you notice I didn't say anything about talent and about skill level. You have to be a senior or whatever.
Right.
Because all that stuff, if you're really passionate, you can learn and your curve can be as heavenly as possible.
Yeah.
So with those credentials, regardless if we replace AC or myself, if you have that same 3 basic things that you have, I can still see the team succeed. They may not be as spunky as I am, but I'm just saying, like the success will
probably
still
not.
be there. Or not as knowledgeable. He has his 15 years of knowledge of farm credit. And may not be that same person, but I'm pretty sure if you have that fundamental kind of flavor, you're gonna succeed. So.
I'm just really sad that year 2000 was 15 years ago because I was like, oh, where did that time go? Right? And you bring that up. I too started in IT in 1999. I came in from I'd been retail banking and I came in from the for the Y2K. They were hiring up. What about your second session? We've been talking about, or is that both combined, or do you have?
That's just him.
Okay.
That was actually a presentation that I did for a specific vendor that we use their software. Yeah, I see. So it was called. Let's see, building upon existing infrastructure for mobile applications.
Wow.
That's like a mouthful.
Yes.
You know? So if you want to look at it, a simple way is, how do I get data from my businesses out to any device?
Okay.
You know, that's like the high level problem set.
Right.
And so in 2013, Farm Credit decided they wanted to improve customer loyalty, customer experience, all those great customer type relation, and give a mobile app. And which doesn't seem like, oh, all right, well, you know, so what does that really mean?
Right.
And so we had an app that didn't have any services exposed, but how do we expose services out to a mobile device securely?
Right.
Yeah. And so this is kind of bringing the concept where we kind of looked at something called an API gateway. So an API gateway sits in the DMZ. It's a managed approach. So APIs are a big talk everywhere. API this, API. Twitter has an API. Facebook has a public API.
They're not very good, but yes, they have them.
Yes. And I get these features, and you know, for all we know, Gallup maybe has.
We do have an API.
Some publicly exposed APIs, so you can go.
Not publicly yet, but
yeah, you can go find that barn that was the first site of the Gallup poll.
Sure.
That's my Gallup history.
That's a good guess.
Yes. Yeah. So wherever that information. So this is where we implemented API gateway, but a lot of the work was actually done on the server side, because a lot of people, when they start talking about mobile, I know it came up one that talks about, does your company have a mobile strategy? And it's like, well, actually a lot of the work you do is going to be on the server side. And you're going to have to try to figure out how do you get all these existing business processes, flat files, mainframe, custom systems, third-party systems that have no idea. Well, how do you get all that, aggregate it, and get it out to that device so your customer can have something that I talked a lot, and I've seen this by the Forrester group, called mobile moments. You know, it's that point in time when I pull out a device and I get information immediately in the context that I want it. And then I'm going to put that mobile phone down and do something else. And if you can't support that infrastructure or figure out how to get that API, you know, really, what are you doing? And one of the things that Forrester talks a lot about, and Microsoft built a whole conference around it, it's called, really what we're building is modern applications that we're going to use mobility as a basis, but I don't want to think about just a mobile device. I want to think about that Internet of Things device. How do I get data out securely to my Xbox, to my Chevy Colorado, to my refrigerator, so it can tell me something, you know, whatever that is, like the AT&T plug. The AT&T plug yesterday. We was talking, how do I get this truck to tell me something useful? And so, you know, it was a talk about, you know, the solution and how we went through from the service to aggregating to building this delivery tier, which is kind of the API gateway, and then exposing it to our mobile device. But we also reuse those same services for other things. And so it was kind of it was kind of a high level. It's not like I opened up Visual Studio and said, do this. You know, I talked a lot about concepts.
Good framework.
And show tiers. And a lot of it's based off of things, of two presentations I've seen before. One at the Build conference at Microsoft, where really they were plugging Microsoft specific technologies. How can I plug so it works on any device? Then from Forrester out at the WSO2 conference, you know, this one of the Forrester consultants, he does all their talking. He talked a lot about high performance teams, but he also talked about modern applications. That if you're in that argument going, I should use Objective-C, should I be doing Java, should I be using PHP, should I be doing JavaScript framework, you're not asking the right questions about what people are really doing in the mobile. You know, it's like there's a bigger picture here about how do I deliver those mobile moments, and that's what
you talk about Internet of Things, and that becomes more than just an API call. That comes to process and how does one thing affect another, I mean, that's really the heart of the internet, the Internet of Things. Although we got to come up with a better name.
Yeah.
Maude, I'm going to give you, that's your homework.
That's my homework.
You came up with bus, right? You came up with bus factor. So you come up with a new.
No, I did not come up with a bus
You come up
factor.
with a new name for the Internet of Things.
What is that?
What the internet?
The interstellar.
What's the name? The owner of O'Reilly. Was it Tim O'Reilly?
Yeah.
All right. He did a presentation out there called like the Internet of Things and People, where he was talking a lot about, great, your microphone can talk back to you, or it can read some type of sensor or something, but what does this person do actually when they hear it?
Right. Right.
And even I was, I missed ever since I heard that. It's like if Gallup or Farm Credit, two businesses, we produce all these cool devices and gadgets, but if a person never uses them,
right,
or we don't actually make someone's life better,
right,
we miss the point.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
No, it's a good
We don't want
point.
to be technology for the sake
Well,
of technology.
to your point, we're in a space right now, a high gadget tree space where
Right.
everything's coming out as gadget. And not all those gadgets are very, very useful. I think we were just talking about this morning's keynote, Meerkat, Periscope. Those are two brand new services. It feels like when Twitter first came out, and people, when I mentioned that, they're like, "Oh, how do we use? I don't know. We have not figured it. Is it going to be useful,
Right?
Or isn't it? When if this then that first came out, there was kind of like, what do we use this for?
Instagram,
right?
right?
Exactly. No, right on.
Yeah.
Guys, we have run out of time, but I want to ask you one more quick question. When you think about the next 3 to 5 years, a technology that you're excited about that you can't, it's not here today, but you kind of think, and it can be consumer, it doesn't have to be work related. Just think about a technology you're excited about.
Yes.
Anthony, we'll start with you.
Since I'm a sports fan, if you ever seen that 9450 basketball, go out and look. I mean, I think that it's an Internet of Things basketball.
Okay.
So now I'm thinking, can I have my Internet of Things football?
All right.
So or my Internet of Things hockey puck.
Yeah.
Where it's going to tell me exactly all the angles it hit. Where someone goes, did that receiver really run 10 routes, and how fast is that ball really going?
Yeah.
And do I need to tell a quarterback that he really needs to throw it more at the corner or more at the hash mark? Or
maybe that the ball is underinflated.
Yeah, underinflated. Yeah. So those Internet of Things sports are what I'm excited about, because from a coaching standpoint, it'd be awesome to know, are you throwing the ball the same way every time, or are you crossing your feet?
Right.
Yeah.
Right? Almost those devices in your shoes.
I am a yoga instructor. I'm a fitness instructor as well. I have been wanting a technology to be out there to make yoga and fitness more accessible to blind and deaf people.
Okay.
Maybe a yoga mat that has, you click on something, you feel sensors.
Yeah.
Or
that's a great idea.
If you're deaf, then you kind of see how it goes and all that stuff. And if
Adaptive
you're blind,
mat.
then you're whatever it is
There you
called.
go.
But there's got to be something out there, an artificial intelligence teacher or something that they can do at home. They don't have to be at the studio. They can just do by themselves.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, guys, thanks.
Hey,
we got another group behind you, but Anthony, thank you. Maude,
Cool.
thanks for coming out
Jim.
and presenting. Appreciate it. Thanks.
Awesome.